my message for you tonight is about the glory of the Lord, the promise in the Bible that God, he is going to reveal his glory to the whole world. Okay, the first text I want to show you is in Numbers chapter 14, verse 21. And it is the third verse here I would like to start with, because it says here, but as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. This text we find in Numbers 14. This is after the, what do they call them in English? This is after the spies. They have come back from the land of Canaan. And you know, the 10 of them, they come with a bad report, and the 2 of them come with a good report. And because of this, they get all discouraged, and they actually rebel against Moses and against God. And then God, he says, okay, I'm going to destroy all of them, Moses, and I'm going to make you a big people, great people out of you. But then Moses, he pleads for them, and he asks there, as you can see, pardon, I beseech you, the iniquity of this people, according unto the greatness of your mercy, and as you have forgiven this people from Egypt even until now. And the Lord said, I have pardoned according to your word. And then he comes with this a little bit, it seems a little bit odd statement. Why would he say that he would fill the whole earth with the glory of himself? Why would he say it in this context? I believe that whenever God, he shows his mercy, he's also showing his glory. And in that he's pardoning the Israelites from rebelling against him, he's actually showing some of his glory. But I want us to study a little bit more about this glory, because I want you to follow with me the fulfillment when this glory of the Lord will fill the whole world. The next thing we look at is Exodus chapter 40, verse 25. And in this verse, we can see that God's glory filled the tabernacle, and it filled not only the first apartment, but the second apartment, and it was especially hovering over the tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant, just above the mercy seat. And it says here, and Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So just as God is going to fill the tabernacle with his glory, he's going to fill the whole earth with his glory. So we can imagine that this will be a huge event. You go to 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18, and there you can see that this glory can change our lives. It says here, but we all with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. So this is a promise that we as Seventh-day Adventists, we as Christians, when we behold this glory of the Lord, it will change our lives. And can you imagine, God is going to reveal this glory to the whole world, so that actually the whole world, if they want, could have their lives changed. The next verse I want you to look at is John chapter 1, verse 14. The reason is because we of course would like to ask the question, why are we changed by beholding this glory? The Bible says here in 1:14 in John, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. And this glory here we can see is full of grace and truth. And there's nothing that can change a person as the grace of the Lord and the truth that the Lord he has given in the Bible, and also by presenting Jesus Christ on this earth. So what is changing us is this grace and this truth. The Bible says, unfortunately, that everyone needs this glory. And the reason why we do not have this glory is because we have sinned, because it says here in Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So whenever we are sinning, we are coming short of the glory of the Lord. So that's a little sad part of it. But here's another promise. Habakkuk, or whatever you call it, chapter 2, verse 14. Here the Lord tells us how the glory is going to be totally filled all over the world. It says here, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Now in Denmark, we have a lot of sea. All around us, we have sea. And you know, where the sea is covering the land, you know, you don't see any land at all. And this is how much God is going to cover the whole earth with the knowledge of his glory. So we have not seen that fully fulfilled yet, but the Bible predicts when and how this is going to happen. In Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1 and 2, we have two verses that applies specifically to this glory and specifically to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I believe that this is a fulfillment of the loud cry that the Adventist Church is going to give to the whole world. The Bible says here in verse 1, arise, shine, for your light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon you, and his glory shall be seen upon you. As Adventists, we believe that this is especially applicable to the end time, where God's people will, with a loud cry, give this message to the whole world, and the whole world will be enlightened. And this is how this glory will be seen, and this knowledge of this glory will be known to the whole world. The Bible also says that part of this glory is the gospel. And I just wanted to have a little part of the gospel. That's one of my favorite themes, the gospel. And I have found that many Seventh-day Adventists, they do not understand the gospel, and they do not believe in the gospel. And therefore, a lot of Adventists, they feel that the Lord cannot forgive them, and they are insecure about their salvation. But try just to listen to these two verses. It's found in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 and 4. It says here in the first verse, verse 3, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Can you see from just this one verse that if the gospel is hid from you, you are lost? That means if you look into the gospel and you see the gospel, you are saved. So the only thing that you should do is to look into the gospel, and you will be saved. If the gospel is not hid to you, you will be saved, and I will be saved. And you see, the devil, he knows this, and therefore the Bible continues, in whom the God of this world has blinded. Can you see? This is the devil that is speaking about. And it's a devil with a special title. He's called the God of this world. So he's going to use the things of this world to blind us so that we do not look into the gospel, and so that we are lost. And this is specifically, I think, set to God's people. The devil is trying to blind our eyes to the gospel so that we will not be saved. But when we continue to look into the gospel and believe it, we will be saved, according to the words here of Paul. And it says here, in whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. So at least part of this glory that we should give to the whole world as the loud cry is specifically about the righteousness of Christ and about the gospel of Jesus Christ, the good news that you can have your sins forgiven. I feel so hot for this, so I would really love to show you some other texts, but we have to continue. Otherwise, I will take too much of your evening. So let's go to the loud cry in Revelation chapter 18, verse 1 to verse 4. Here in Revelation 18, we have the loud cry clearly presented, and we have it in the wording of the glory of the Lord will enlighten the whole world. So we can see here the final fulfillment of this prophecy given in Numbers chapter 14, again repeated in Habakkuk and many, many, many other places. I have only shown you a fraction of the places where this theme about the glory of the Lord has been revealed in the Bible. Look what listen what it says here. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. This is what we believe is the angel that will combine with the third angel, and this will rise to a loud cry, and this will enlighten the whole world. And the Bible continues, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. We could speak a long time about these verses, but I'll just quickly say what we believe it means. This is a revelation that God's people have to reveal to the world what is true religion, but we also have to reveal what is the false gospel. We have to believe what is fallen churches and who these fallen churches constitute and why they are falling, why they have become full of these devils, these evil spirits and spiritualism and spiritism and all kinds of things. This is what God's people have to reveal to the whole world. Verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. These are these false doctrines that the whole earth have drunk of. And the kings of this earth have committed fornication with him. So these fallen churches, the kings have combined with them and combined a big church and state relationship. And therefore, these fallen churches can persecute those who will not be in this combination. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. This I could speak to you about for hours. You know, this is coming true to right in front of our eyes today. You know, many Adventists, they have no clue about what this means. How come that the merchants, that Amazon.com and Elon Musk and all these big companies, why will they cry when the churches will fall? Why will they cry? Why will they not be able to be rich anymore? There is a lot of information in this, but I cannot go into details about this. So maybe we have to wait for later, or you have to study this out yourself. Verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. So this is a strong message. I hope you can see that apart from the righteousness of Christ and the gospel, this wonderful message we have to give this strong message. And you know, we believe as Adventists, when it speaks about that it's an angel giving it, we actually believe it's us who gives it. We know that from the John the Baptist, it says that the angel of the Lord, but it was actually not the angel of the Lord, it was John the Baptist who gave the message, but he got it from the angel of the Lord. Now, how in the world are we going to give such a strong message to everyone? Do you know anyone who actually gives such a strong message to the whole world today? I don't know. I have seen some who does it on the internet and YouTube, and maybe also a few on Audioverse, and also there are preachers from the pulpit in Adventist churches who give the message. Also, when they have evangelistic meetings, they also give the message. But it's not to everyone. It's to a very small group of people. And you know, if you give such a strong message on the internet and you put it on YouTube, it will not take very long before it will be censored away by YouTube or Facebook or wherever you put this kind of a message. I can tell you, I had an evangelistic crusade in a fairly big city of Denmark. And in this city, I had a fairly nice crowd. And among the crowd, there was some Catholics. And these Catholics, they just loved when I spoke about prophecy, and they were so eager. And so they said, we are going to invite all our friends. And so they did. So they invited a lot of their families and their friends. And then I came to the evening where I had to speak about the Antichrist. And we went very slowly through the prophecies. And very quickly, they could see who was the Antichrist according to the Bible. I showed from Luther and from the history books and a lot of things, but also from the Bible. It was so clear to them. And they got so upset. So they rose up and they left, and they never came back again. So when we have to preach this strong message, how are we going to do it when people, they leave us? So how will this prophecy be fulfilled? I'm so happy we have the spirit of prophecy, because the spirit of prophecy, she reveals how it will be, we can do it. She says, this can only be done through literature. And of course, I will talk about that because I'm involved in literature. Listen to what she says here in Testimonies, volume 7. You can read all the first, I think, 150, 60 pages of Testimony, volume 7. And again, she will speak about this with a loud cry and how this will be accomplished, especially through the books and the literature that we give out. Listen what she says. And in a large degree, through our publishing houses, is to be accomplished the work of that other angel who comes down from heaven with great power and who lightens the earth with his glory. And Ellen White, she goes on to tell that after the big shaking in 1844, there was such people were so much against Adventists, and they didn't want to listen to them. They were prejudiced against everything that Adventists had to say. So they found out the only way to reach the American people was through literature. Listen what she says. And this is spoken specifically to Northern Europe, what she says here. Habits and customs vary, but human nature is the same. Because the Northern European, they said, no, we cannot hand out a lot of literature to people. They're not like Americans. They will throw it away. But listen what she says. You must go to work here just as we did in America. Have your tract societies and other facilities. And although it may seem at times that the publications in some places do not accomplish much, you must go right on. We had just such experiences in America, but we kept to the point in sending out these publications to different classes, and it was some time before we could make any advancement. Isn't that interesting? They had exactly this experience that we also often experience. We hand out a lot of literature and it seems like nothing happens. But she says, there's something will happen. The Holy Spirit will lead this literature to the people. The Gospel of John says exactly the same thing. Look what it says here in John chapter 21, verse 24. This is this disciple which testifies of these things and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true. So John, he wanted to give his testimony. So what did he do? He wrote it down in a book, and then he sent it out to people. That's a way to evangelize. That's a way to give your testimony. And this testimony we have to give to the whole world. And if people will not listen to us, if you go to the door and knock the door and they shut it right in your face before you ever come to Revelation 18, verse 1 to 4, you have to give them a book. Listen what she says. The silent messenger, how it will work in where the preacher cannot come. Even if they shut the door in your face, do not hasten away in indignation and make no further effort to save them. Ask God in faith to give you access to those very souls. Cease not your efforts, but study and plan until you find some other means of reaching them. If you do not succeed by personal visits, try sending them the silent messenger of truth. There's so much pride of opinion in the human heart that our publications often gain admittance where the living messenger cannot. Isn't that interesting? So if you cannot get to people, give them some literature. Ellen White, she says, there are 3 books she would like every home on this earth to have. Now, let me just tell you, we are about 7.5 or close to coming to 8 billion people. And there's more than 1 billion homes on this earth. This means we need to share at least 3 billion copies of these books. Can you imagine this? If you want to sell this, it's impossible. So you have to share it to them. This is what we found out. And I want to tell you the story, how we found this out. I cannot give you all these quotes, but you can have them from me later on. I can put them in the PowerPoint later on. So if you want the PowerPoint with all the quotes where he says these things, I will give it to you. But it will take the whole evening if we have to read all these quotes. But let me just give some other quotes about the circulation of literature. Ellen White found out in her time that the best way to do evangelism was to circulate a lot of our truth literature, and then afterward to send the living preacher. And this is exactly what she says in this quote. She says, share the literature with the truth, and then after a while, come with the living preacher afterwards. She found out this was the best way to win most souls. And she found that the living preacher was much more efficient afterward when we had shared truth literature in an area. I'm not reading this for you, so if you want to have the PowerPoint later, you can have it, but this is exactly what it says. Now let me go to a little story here and tell me a little story about myself and how I got into all this with literature. I'm not born in a Seventh-day Adventist home. I'm born in a total non-Christian home. In our family, we have only one in our whole family, and I have a huge family. My mother, she had 8 siblings, and my father had also several brothers and sisters. But in our big family, we have very, very few Christians. Only one family, as far as I know, are a little Christian. So I had no clue about Christianity. But the Lord, he was merciful to me. And one day he gave me a dream about the second coming of Christ. And to just cut a long story short, I woke up of this dream. I for the first time in my life, knelt down and I prayed to the Lord. And then I became a Seventh-day Adventist. And after I became a Seventh-day Adventist, I thought, I need to give this message to the world about Jesus is coming soon. And so I went to Newbold College to become a pastor. But while I was there at Newbold, I thought, we cannot just study here all the time. We need to do something for the world. We need to enlighten everybody around us. So we went to the faculty and went to all the students, a group of us. We made an action group, and we persuaded all the teachers, or many of the teachers and many of the students, that we would make a Revelation seminar. And so we persuaded all of them to go around to all the houses all around the town that Newbold was close to, Bracknell and so on, and invited people personally to Revelation seminar. Unfortunately, very few turned up. I don't know why, but this was really a discouragement for us. But we found that this idea about having a lot of young people do something together, this was a great idea. So when I came back from Newbold after finished my education, my wife and I, we immediately, together with our action group there, my best friend Kenneth, he was in Norway, I was in Denmark, and we continued to do evangelism with young people. By the way, I just have to tell you this little thing we did also at Newbold. 3 of us, I'm in the middle there if you want to know it. The 3 of us, we bought a double-decker bus, and then we took it to Norway, and then we had young people to come with us. We changed around the bus with advertisement from different institutions from the Adventist Church, and downstairs we had a bookstore and a health shop, And upstairs, we had something for children and people who were interested in spiritual things. And then the young people, the 50 young people, we would send them out to canvass from door to door and sell literature. And we visited all the big cities around Norway. Unfortunately, this bus was 4.45 meters, and most of the bridges, they are only 4.35 meters. So we had a little problem. We came to a bridge, and then it was too low. And we thought, how do we get under this bridge? Because we thought this was the only way to go to a city called Stavanger and Bergen. And so we thought this was at least the shortest way. So let's take this big road. And this was actually the highway to these two big cities of Norway. And so we thought, let us just let out some of this air in the tires, because then we could just go these 2-3 centimeters down. And we had a prayer, of course, and they had a reporter actually, because we stopped the whole traffic. You can imagine this is the same as going to London, and there's only one way to London. And then you stop the traffic totally by this huge double-decker bus, because we had to go right in the middle of the bridge, because this is the place where it was 4.35 meters. And then we tried to let out some of the air, but it was not enough. And then we prayed another prayer, and then we went back, and then we tried to let off more air, but suddenly just said, and all the air went out of the tires. And we had planted a big double-decker bus right in the middle of the main street to these two big cities. Nobody could come out, nobody could come in. This was not very popular, I just have to tell you. But it was an adventure afterward, and today we laugh about it. But our brethren in the church, the union, they were scared to death when they heard about this. But by God's grace, we got it out, and then we continued at some rubble roads and things, but we finally came to the cities. So, but this gave us the idea about young people. So when I came back to Denmark, when my friend Kenneth came back to Norway, we took young people with us out in the summer, did canvassing, and we had evangelistic crusades in the weekends. In Norway, they were very efficient. They were 6 weeks together with these young people, and we were only 4 weeks together with them, but we had evangelistic meetings every weekend. So here you have all the young people going out with their fashionable cars. You can see this is quite some years ago. This was in 1990, 1998, and 1991, and so on and so forth. We did this for, I think, almost 15, 16 years. And here in the morning, we studied the Bible with the young people. And then in the afternoon and evening, we went out from home to home. And in the evening, we finished off with telling their testimony. It was a wonderful experience for them. Many became full-time literature evangelists, and there was a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people became baptized, and also from outside, we had people that became baptized. And this was a great revival in the Scandinavian churches. The leadership could not imagine this. More than 200 people going from home to home. By the way, the speaker there in the middle, this is my best friend, Kenneth Jørgens. He looks like a child now here, but he's a little bit older now. He's the best preacher in all of Scandinavia. I think maybe he's one of the best preachers in all of Europe. So if you ever want to have a sermon where you will be so encouraged, you have Kenneth come to Brussels to teach you. And here you have another picture of them. But you know, when you go from home to home, if you can you see my mouse? This is the picture I want to speak about first. If you go to home and you want to sell something, you go to 50 homes and they say no, 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 and then finally you maybe get a sale. Or you go to 100 homes in Denmark and they say no, 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 and then maybe you get a sale. So we were very discouraged. We saw so many people that did not get the books. So how could we enlighten everyone when they don't get the books? And also the people who became Adventists, I have just given you this as an idea. They were like babies, and you know, these small babies, they had to be taken care of, and this took up all our town, all these new comers into the church. So we had two big problems. The evangelists, they were caught up by all these new believers, and we still did not reach every single home. So our main key workers, slowly but surely, they got burned out, and we had to think. And still, we saw this wonderful promise from the spirit of prophecy that Jesus could come back in our generation. Look what she says. Success in any line demands a definite aim. He who would achieve true success in life must keep steadily in view the aim worthy of his endeavor. Such an aim is set before the youth of today. The heaven-appointed purpose of giving the gospel to the world in this generation, not the next, is the noblest aim that can appeal to any human being. It opens a field of effort to everyone whose heart Christ has touched. So this was still in the back of our minds, and we just had to take a time out and think. And while we were doing a timeout, we started the printing press. So it was very small in the beginning. Now today we have 2,500 square meters printing press. And I thought I wanted to give you some ideas. Yeah, this is just to give you a little video. I don't know if you can hear me or while I, yeah, anyway, this is where we're doing the great controversy, and we are putting them in foil. We have a invitation together with the book to invite them to evangelistic crusades, and then we put them in folio, and then they are shrink wrapped immediately, and then they are packed also. And this is all done by that. It's a little tedious. This man, he had 100,000 great controversies in his hands. Then it's heated up, so it shrinks, and then they can pack it here. So let me go to the next one. Here you see we're printing the great controversy. This is something that makes every printer very happy when they see the machine is running like that. You can imagine a copy machine going like that. And so I'm running to the other end of the printing machine, so you can see where the white paper comes in. It comes in white paper, it comes out with four colors together. Sometimes machines say more than words. Yeah, here's another view. Yeah, you know, 100,000 books that we have distributed in Denmark. It takes a lot of space, I tell you. So our factory was filled to the capacity. So in 2008, after we had established the printing press and it was going very well, we started something called worldwide literature evangelism. We started to make the great controversy, Desire of Ages, in 4-color, because we found out that when people they got a 1-color, they did not read it. And the way we tested it out, we gave these 4-color versions to Adventists, and then we asked them afterward, have you read the book? And you know, we had people coming back and said, I have never read the great controversy. And for the first time in my life, I read it from cover to cover just because of the pictures. So we thought, maybe pictures, if they can help the Adventists to read the book, maybe can also help the non-Adventists. But then came COVID-19, and this was the greatest blessing ever. And I will tell you why. We were in the middle of an evangelistic crusade, and suddenly they closed down the whole thing. We could not continue with the meetings. So we had to give the message to people that we continue now on Zoom. And to our surprise, we found out twice as many people turned up on the Zoom meetings than did on the physical meeting. And then I spoke with because we are doing prints for example, political parties. So I asked some of them, are you also doing Zoom meetings? Yeah, we are all doing Zoom meetings now. And I said, we had this experience that our meetings, when we did physical meetings, we had so-and-so, we had maybe 100 people, but when we make meetings on Zoom and we invited the same group of people, we suddenly had 200 people. And they said, we have exactly the same experience. So we thought, aha, we want to reach as many people with this message So we have to do it on Zoom. And therefore, we found out the idea to start daily Zoom. The first idea we wanted to do was daily Zoom for Seventh-day Adventists. So every day we meet 1 hour. And the reason I took this picture is because I don't know if you can see this guy. He suddenly somehow pressed a key, and then he had some kind of filter, so he had some crazy glasses, and he couldn't get it away. And so I just had to laugh and take a picture of it. So that's why you have this picture of Zoom. But this is just to give an idea. But we started this daily Zoom, 1 hour every day. We study one chapter in the Bible. And this has been such a blessing for us. It's actually like this every week now. We have new people, because some of people, friends, they begin to bring their non-Adventist friends with them. And now we have one after the other who want to become baptized. And we are just amazed. In Denmark, we are not used to this. People coming totally from outside, and then they want to become baptized. For example, we have had people we have studied with for years and years, and it was so hard for us to have them persuaded to be baptized. But after 3 months on this daily Zoom, they made one of our church members in the city, and this lady whom we have studied with for years now, and it was so hard for her to leave her church. Suddenly she says, I would like to be baptized. And we have people. We had a woman, she is married to a Muslim, and she says, my husband, he does not know, but I'm following you every single day, and I just love it. Can you imagine this? People from outside, and they're just ready to become Seventh-day Adventists. So we have just found this is such a blessing. On Friday evening, we have a testimony. So today, right now, there's a testimony, and every Friday there's a miracle nearly happening, because people, when they hear a testimony, it just sticks right to their heart, and so they are converted. So every night we have between 200 and 250 people join these Zoom meetings in Denmark and in Norway, and this has become the work core for us. So we found out, this is a way to do follow-up work. If we can just get the new people to go to our daily Zoom, then they will be automatically followed up, and you do not have all this problem with this new babies that need to be cared for all the time. Zoom will help you, and we with Zoom we could also divide the workload. So we found the idea about distributing 100,000 great controversies to 100,000 different homes in Denmark, and also with an invitation to evangelistic meetings. And this is our evangelist Lasse. You could also invite him. He's a genius evangelist. He's so good. He's a computer programmer, but he's just doing full-time evangelism right now. He's incredible what is happening with him. Nearly every week, people are contacting him because of just from totally outside, who's just viewed his videos and who would like to have more information. And some of them, we have a whole church who would like to nearly join the whole thing. So it's incredible things that is happening at the moment in Denmark. We have I can never recall anything like this in Denmark, at least. And this Lasse, he's also a computer programmer, so he's programmed the whole system with Zoom so that a person only needs to use half an hour every week. Then everything is organized with who will do the teaching, sending out the emails. Everything is done automatic, and this is just genius. So we have no burning out anymore, and we are ready for the baby boom in the Adventist Church. All these new people to come into the Adventist Church, and people, when the daily Zoom members, when they are studying the Bible every day, they are so eager to do evangelism, you cannot believe it. So we thought it would be a big headache for us to hand out these 100,000. Actually, right now we are finished in Denmark, and they are complaining, why have you not printed more? And I said, I had not money for more. So what could we do? And this is too few books you have printed. 100,000, this we never imagined we could be able to hand them out so quickly. So quickly overview. Daily Zoom, we study one chapter in the Bible every day. We have the testimony every Friday night. We distribute large numbers of great controversies or desire of ages with the books, we invite to Zoom an evangelistic meeting on Zoom. After these 16 meetings, we transfer these believers to the daily Zoom by having Lasse, this evangelist, to take the first meetings on daily Zoom for some time, so that the new believers who become converted on the Zoom evangelism, that it's more easy for them to come into the daily Zoom. And I just tell you, I am just so convinced that if we would follow this model, of course, this is not the only thing to do. There are lots of ways to do evangelism, and people, they become so creative when they study the Bible every day. So I'm just giving you one idea, but I just tell you, I am so convinced that this is one of the greatest way for us to spread this knowledge of the glory of the Lord to the whole world. So let me just repeat this to you. The heaven appointed purpose of giving the gospel to the world in this generation is the noblest aim that can appeal to any human being. It opens a field of effort to everyone whose heart Christ has touched. And I'm so sorry, I've gone too much over the time. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, and I will go back to Zoom here again.